A courtroom prepared, a sentence about to be delivered, and then silence. On the eve of judgment, defendants vanish into thin air, leaving justice unfinished and families haunted forever. These are their stories. Case 1. The Businessman in New Jersey, 2,500 characters. In the late 1990s, New Jersey was rocked by the case of a wealthy businessman accused of orchestrating one of the largest fraud schemes the state had ever seen. For months, prosecutors built their case, and by the time his trial concluded, a guilty verdict was inevitable. His sentencing was scheduled for a Monday morning. On Sunday evening, he had dinner with his family, kissed his children goodnight, and told his wife that he was ready to face whatever the court decided. But the next morning, the man who was supposed to stand before the judge never arrived. His car was later found abandoned at a rest stop off the New Jersey Turnpike, engine still running, driver's door slightly ajar. Inside, investigators discovered his briefcase neatly placed on the passenger seat and a half-drunk cup of coffee in the holder. It looked as though he had stepped away for just a moment, but he was gone. State troopers combed the surrounding woods and nearby motels, but no trace of him surfaced. Speculation quickly spread. Had he staged his own disappearance to avoid prison? Or had someone silenced him to keep certain secrets from coming out during sentencing? Some investigators leaned toward a planned escape, pointing to rumors of offshore bank accounts and forged travel documents. Others believed foul play was far more likely, suggesting powerful individuals had a stake in making sure he never spoke again. Decades later, no one knows whether he walked away willingly or was swallowed by forces bigger than himself. What remains clear is that justice was left unfinished, and the victims of his crimes were denied closure. Case 2. The Vanishing in Texas, 2,500 characters. In a small Texas town, a man stood accused of a violent assault that had shocked the community. His trial had been highly publicized, with survivors waiting anxiously for justice. On the night before proceedings began, he checked into a modest roadside hotel, telling the clerk he needed just one good night's rest before everything began. Surveillance cameras captured him leaving his room at 11:43 p.m., wearing jeans and a t-shirt, carrying nothing but a set of car keys. Just 30 minutes later, another camera showed him walking into a nearby gas station. He browsed the aisles, appeared restless, but bought nothing. Then, in the blink of an eye, he was gone. No additional footage ever emerged, and despite extensive searches of the surrounding highways, fields, and rivers, there was no sign of him. His rental car remained untouched in the hotel parking lot. Theories flooded in. Some claimed he fled on foot, terrified of the prison sentence he was about to receive. Others suspected someone had been waiting for him outside that gas station, ready to make sure his testimony never reached the courtroom. For the survivors, the sudden vanishing meant reliving trauma all over again, watching a trial dissolve into uncertainty. The justice system, prepared to hold him accountable, instead faced an empty chair. Years later, whispers still circulate in the town. Some claim to have spotted him living under a different name in another state. Others are convinced his disappearance was permanent, engineered by forces we'll never understand. His case remains open, a haunting reminder of how close justice can come before vanishing into the night. Case 3. The California Mother, 2,500 characters. In California, a custody-related crime led to one of the most perplexing disappearances in legal history. A mother of two, accused of violating court orders in a heated custody battle, was set to be sentenced on a Thursday morning. The night before, she called her lawyer, assuring him she would be ready and at court on time. Afterward, she tucked her children into bed, set out her clothes for the morning, and left her purse and phone on the kitchen counter. But when dawn arrived, her house was eerily silent. Her car sat untouched in the driveway. Neighbors reported seeing her porch light flicker around 4 a.m., but none saw her leave. Police found no signs of forced entry, no struggle, and no footprints leading away. It was as if she had evaporated into thin air. For investigators, the timing was everything. Why would she prepare so thoroughly for court, only to vanish hours before? Some believed she fled to avoid losing custody and facing punishment. Others suspected she had been abducted, possibly by someone connected to the case who wanted her silenced. The most chilling theory suggested she was taken by someone she trusted, perhaps invited out under false pretenses, only never to return. Her disappearance devastated her children and bewildered the legal system. Without her presence, the trial ground to a halt. Families waiting for justice instead faced uncertainty, staring at an empty seat where answers should have been. Her case remains unsolved, the house she left behind frozen in time, a haunting reminder of how a single night can erase someone from existence. Case 4. The Illinois Official, 2,500 characters. In Illinois, a former city official faced charges of corruption. Prosecutors alleged he had siphoned public funds and, more dangerously, had ties to powerful individuals who benefited from his silence. He had agreed to testify in exchange for a lighter sentence, a move that promised to expose an intricate web of corruption reaching far beyond his office. His testimony was scheduled for the following morning. He never made it. That night, neighbors reported hearing strange noises coming from his apartment, doors slamming, heavy footsteps, and then silence. When police entered the next day, the apartment was immaculate, no signs of forced entry. His clothes for court were neatly pressed and laid across the bed. His phone was on the nightstand, fully charged. His car was still parked outside, but he was gone. Investigators feared the worst, that someone with much to lose had orchestrated his disappearance. Without him, the case collapsed. Powerful figures, who had been on the verge of exposure, walked free. Some speculated he had been relocated into witness protection, but officials denied this. Others whispered darker possibilities, that he had been permanently silenced, his body hidden where no one would ever find it. The case left a scar on the community, breeding distrust in the system meant to protect them. It highlighted the terrifying possibility that the closer one gets to justice, the more dangerous it becomes. To this day, his vanishing remains unsolved. Another chilling entry in the long list of disappearances that occur when truth is about to come to light. Which story unsettled you most? Do you think these defendants ran, or were they silenced? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more chilling mysteries every week.